We cannot eradicate anti-Semitism or hate, but we can see to it that it is again diminished, disgraced into oblivion. We can build walls to protect by public condemnation and isolation. We can demand that internet companies take action faster and move comprehensively against promoters of Jew hatred, bigotry. We must see to it that we educate our youth on all levels and to reach out to these school systems, that they engage in proper education, to see that the textbooks do not carry the hostile messages that are so often taught, even in our own public school systems. We must educate our youth about the challenges and what they can do about it. The appointments of special envoys in the United States and across the world is an important step, but it is not enough. And local coordinators are important as well, but we have to see it expanded and we have to see real action. There has to be more legislation. We have to see to it that Congress is acting consistently and constantly against BDS and against other measures, to see to it that universities are held to account under the Title VI education laws and other vehicles. We have support. There is support amongst the American people. There's support in the White House, in the Congress, on both sides of the aisle. But they have to see to it that we are pressing them and we are holding them to account. We must work with the political parties and especially with the conventions coming up to make sure that the conventions don't turn into, again, hostile propaganda vehicles. I have a few points to make just in terms of our obligation. And one obligation rises above all, and that's Achdus. The precondition to our success in this case and in every other instance in Jewish history since we stood at Har Sinai, Kish Echad B'Lev Echad, is Achdus, Jewish unity. We have to stop dividing our community. We have to bring ourselves together and say we will stand as one because we will fall as one. All of us become the victims when we allow the divisions to become manifest. Unity will lead to solidarity without. But if the unity within is lacking, we will not have that support. So I appeal to everyone, and it is not because Aguda is responsible, but because you are voices that reach into the community and to those who are watching. It's a time to put aside the differences and the narishkeit and to stand together against this threat to all of us. How many more people have to be beaten in Brooklyn or in Berlin before we stand up to this? And to all of us, we must fight the indifference that characterizes so many. They say the road to Auschwitz was built by hate, but paved by indifference. Everyone, no exceptions, no excuses, must find a role in the solution or we become part of the problem. We have to end the degradation and the anti-Israelism that too many of us tolerate. We need more efforts to see to it that they stand up like the Chelsea football team in its Stop the Hate campaign or the World Muslim League. We have to see to it that everyone who believes that they are civilized will stand against anti-Semitic crimes, the crimes of Jew hatred. See to it that meaningful punishments are imposed. Hate crimes undermine all of us. And while we are thankful for what we have been given, we need more grants for security assistance to our institutions so that they provide physical security for our children especially, but for all of our institutions without making them unwelcome places. We need more legal actions, and we are doing many, but we need more. We need to stand collectively against all of the biases, whether at the United Nations or other vehicles, where we see the anti-Jewish messages being promulgated, where they take the names away from our most sacred makomos, that the Kotel is now Al Barak's wall, that the Kever Rachel is now a mosque named for Muhammad's driver, that Marat HaMachpelah is a mosque, and all of the Jewish names are eradicated so that when your grandchildren want to visit there, they won't be allowed because they told that these are only Muslim holy places. This is the volume today in every UN document only refers to the Muslim names. And you think, why do they do it? The answer is that they understand better than us that if you take away our past, you take away our future. That if you cut us off from the roots, what right do we have to be there or to be anywhere? How many of you, I ask, have written to your congressman, have called and written to a newspaper, called a radio show, done something, some proactive message on the internet or elsewhere? I know some of you do it, and some of you do it very effectively. But we have to see to it that each of us does our part, that our children and grandchildren, when they come back, when they sha'al avicha v'yagetcha, that you'll have something to tell them. Each of us going to be judged for ourselves. What did we do? Saying never again is not enough. We have to activate it and act on it. We have to learn from our grandparents and parents, those who survived, listen to them. You can opt out, but don't complain about the results. Shimshon Raphael Hirsch said that it's much easier not to be involved and to live a quiet life. But quiet rules in the cemetery, the very essence of quiet and death, he wrote. Do we want a living Jewish community, or are we prepared to see the quiet and the death of the Jewish community? It's in your hands. Each of you can play a role. Not everybody can do everything, but everybody can do something. You have to make that choice.